have means, but because we live in a city like LA, and it's just, there's nothing natural about it. Really, you really have to make an effort to take them somewhere else.
Was there any kind of thing, like we talk about your book, Kiss and Tell, it becomes mainstream erotica. I mean, how does erotica become mainstream?
My book is erotica?
No, it's like, we're talking about way what you were.
Oh,
mainstream erotica for Playboy.
My so-called erotica is pretty mild now.
That's what
Don't
I mean.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty conservative stuff.
That's what I was asking.
For its time, it wasn't. For its time, it was forward thinking. But now, almost anything. And some people walk around naked all the time.
But
it's not a really big deal anymore.
That was breaking barriers at the time?
It was breaking my own rules. I really wasn't out to make anybody else's path, you know. Although in some ways, I suppose I did, you know.
When I first met you years ago, you were involved. I was writing for the Herald Examiner, and you were involved in a lot of charity parties and different things. And you're still involved in giving back to the community.
I lost track a little while because I was busy being a mom and all that entails. And now that I'm, you know, president of the PTA at our school,
I know.
It's no full
How
circle.
Do those mothers,
things come full circle.
How do those mothers treat you?
And I don't know necessarily that everyone knows your whole history, but we're of the philosophy that you are what you do now. And so what we're doing now is we're co-chairing, my daughter and I, a hike for breast cancer called Take a Hike, and it takes place on October 13th at the Paramount Ranch at 7:30 in the morning.
And it's an actual hike.
It's an actual hike. There are 3 levels of hike. You know, there's easy, medium, and hard.
Do you?
So anybody can come.
Will you actually hike?
I will. I hike all the time.
Do you? And
we'll
your daughter?
They'll do that? And I thought it would be good to get her involved in charitable work early in her life.
Just as you did. I mean, you were a teenager, well, not quite a teenager.
20-something.
Pretty close. But when you started doing things.
Yeah.
And I think probably Hefner was responsible because
he does a tremendous amount up there. And it was nice. Everything from trial lawyers for public justice to Cancer Society. And, you know, it's great. Great experience.
So who's hiking with you?
My daughter, and if I can convince Gene to come, maybe it'd be fun for everybody to come and watch Gene in hiking boots.
Does he hike?
Cute. No.
He doesn't hike.
But it'd be funny to watch.
But this is for breast cancer, and it's for
research in particular.
At USC.
And the money goes directly to research. Yeah.
And how many people come out?
You know, I haven't done this particular one before, but I heard they had a pretty good turnout last time.
Like hundreds of people?
Hundreds. And so some will take the easy hike and the medium hike and fewer probably take the hard way up.
They can all be involved, and they pay to be involved.
You can raise money online at takeahike.org, or you can come there.
Come and
give what you can.
That's great. And then one other thing before we leave, what's in store for the Shannon Tweed
saga?
Gene Simmons saga?
Well, if I had my way, I'd be adopting a lot of children right now, but I need help with that. And we're going to continue shooting our reality show on A&E, and it's on Sunday nights around 9 o'clock.
Do you write?
Do I write or ride?
Write.
Write, no.
No? Did you ever?
No. My son.
That's it.
He's huge. He's in Pitzer for creative writing.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Oh. He's a fabulous writer.
Not musical?
Not music. Well, I am musical, but I'm not pursuing any other careers at this point. Yeah.
And your son, is he musical?
He is. Mm-hmm. And my daughter is too.
They're both.
Yeah, she's going to record a song with her dad this year.
Oh,
yeah,
bravo.
nice.
Well, we'll have him back on.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Shannon.
Anytime.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with director Martin Bedoyan. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm with director Martin Bedoyan, who was born in Los Angeles and raised in Blythe, California, where his father was a farmer. He graduated from Stanford, trained at the ACT in San Francisco, and is an alum of the Lincoln Center's Directors Lab Workshop. You've seen Martin in TV and film, but his love is the stage. He was a company member of Stage Left in Chicago before coming to Los Angeles in 1998. Martin, did you get to act and do what you wanted to do in Chicago?
Oh yeah, I got to do a lot of acting in Chicago, and did film work, did television work, and did an awful lot on stage. I got called in a number of times to audition for Steppenwolf, and that was always
that's great.
kind of my dream, was to work at Steppenwolf, and unfortunately I moved before that happened. And kept, I had a lot of actor friends who would say, oh, I'd love you to direct, I'd love you to direct, and
Why did they say that? How did they know you can direct?
you know, I guess it's just, you know, when you're on set or on stage in a rehearsal, there's a certain way that you talk about a role, or a certain way you may interact with the director you've got, or discuss character with somebody else. And beyond that, I'm not exactly sure, but people were always saying, I think you should direct. And I wouldn't do it because I was actually afraid I would be a better director than I was an actor. And I loved acting so much at the time, but eventually gave in, and pretty happy doing both. So.
Did that bring you to Los Angeles?
Actually, no, I came to Los Angeles because my mother fell ill.
Oh. Here in the city?
Here in Los Angeles. My mother lives in Burbank.
Oh, I see.
And so came to Los Angeles in '98 to help with her care, and gave up everything to do with acting, directing, anything for about 2 years.
Oh, wow. So, but getting away from the farm and going to Chicago was probably as far away as you could get. You never wanted to be a farmer?
You know, it's interesting because now when I look back on that time in my life, I recognize kind of, not to sound overly sentimental, but kind of the simple beauty of something like working as a farmer that growing up I couldn't see. And also,
interesting.
That was a period of time where the American small farm was really struggling, and my dad encouraged me not to go into farming.
Oh, he did? What kind of farm was it?
It was all produce, watermelons, cantaloupes, cotton, lettuce, you know, yeah.
Great stuff, huh?
And I put myself through school pitching watermelons and...
You mean to Stanford? At
yeah.
Stanford? Is
well,
that right?
I came home in the summer and I worked through the summer driving forklift. Right? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you did have a chance to be on the farm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if you had to go back to till the soil, you could.
Yeah, probably I could.
Or you could direct a play about that.
I could certainly direct a play about tilling the soil or raising sheep, which I did, yeah.
So what theaters did you start directing in?
I actually started doing what I kind of call shadow directing, where as an actor I had a concept for a show, and I would hire somebody else, and that started out in Dallas and some other, did a studio production at PCPA with a friend, and then really started directing in kind of a self-produced way, my feeling kind of being that if you're a painter, you don't wait for somebody to buy you paints. And
so get out there and do it.
And I wanted to produce a certain type of theater, and I thought, well, you know, I shouldn't wait for somebody to give me the opportunity. So in Los Angeles, I produced a production called Sharon and Billy with my wife, who's a co-founder of my theater company.
Oh, she's a co-founder with you. What's her name?
Her name is Catherine, or Kate, as I call her. And so that was co-produced with the Open Fist Theater Company here in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes, that has a very good company too,
yes.
doesn't it? Just back to Chicago for a minute.
Okay.
Why'd you go to Chicago and not New York?
I think Chicago just felt like halfway between the big city and the farm to me, a little bit maybe.
There's a lot of theater in Chicago, like LA,
yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, different kind of theater, not New York kind of theater so much.
Well, it's probably closer to New York theater. Chicago's probably closer to New York theater than it is to LA theater. But it was a big theater town, and I knew that's where my heart was on stage.
I see.
And having been to New York on a few occasions, it's a really hard life, especially if you're a struggling actor. Rent, you know.
So you were thinking of acting more than actually directing at that point. So I see.
Point, yeah.
Were you writing? Were you writing anything?
You know, I do write a little bit, but only so many hours in the day, and that's something I'd like to get back to. And I worked on some experimental pieces that were kind of self-developed. I did an interesting piece in Chicago called Just a Little Bit Harder about Janis Joplin. And it was 5 actors who all played Janis in one scene or another, men and women.
That's what they're doing with what? Is it Springsteen? They're doing their...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's not Bruce Springsteen, but all these different people are playing that
right.
role?
And so did some writing, you know, for that and things like that. But